And we are live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Getting Candid with Rochie. And today, if you don't know me, I am Rochie. I am the person behind the blog, thefrugalistamom.com. It's a food allergy lifestyle blog, and I've been doing it for the past 8 years. I'm a speaker, I'm a gluten-free and food allergy recipe creator, serial product tester, and of course, a mom of four. So, without further ado, I want to share with you today's topic, which we call Getting Ready for a Gluten Free and Allergy Friendly Thanksgiving. Yes, guys, it's Thanksgiving. In 2 weeks, it's Thanksgiving. I know most of you are still on denial because me personally, I think it's still March or April. But anyway, we're going to have a very exciting night because my guest is not only an amazing chef, but she is a gluten-free and allergy-friendly chef. Isn't that fun? So guys, let's all welcome Miss, I would say Chef Martha of the Allergy Dragon. Hi, Martha.
Hi, Rochie. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for saying yes. So let's get started because I know we got a lot of things planned for tonight. So
Yes.
before we go to our cooking show, I'm going to ask you, what is the inspiration behind the Allergy Dragon?
Okay, Allergy Dragon started about a little over 2 years ago. I actually just decided to create a YouTube channel because people were asking me, I want your recipes, I want your recipes. And I had just lost my mom a year before that. And we talked about that there was no pictures of her because she didn't like to have pictures taken of her. And I was like, why don't I put my recipes together? I'll put it on a YouTube channel and maybe somebody will watch it and I'll help somebody. No big deal. And then it started to become people reaching out to get more information. And so then I actually made an Allergy Dragon an actual company a little over a year ago now. And so I do consultations, whether it be from people that need help with just getting in the kitchen and having fun with food again because they've been newly diagnosed, or they're just scared because they're eating the same foods all the time. I'm getting a lot of I get a lot of recommendations from RN or RDs, registered dietitians, that I work with now on the hospital side of stuff. And it's because people are like, I know these 10 foods are safe, but they're not getting enough nutrition and they're just scared. So I really believe that everybody has a right to delicious food. We don't need to become complacent just because we want safe food. So that's what inspired Allergy Dragon, and it just kind of become its force in itself. I work with recipes with companies and consulting that way as well. So it's one of those things. And YouTube channel will start having more videos once my new editing software is fixed by my daughter. So but I haven't been doing much of that. Started a blog about a year ago, and like I said, it's just kind of become its own force, I guess, in a way. So I just want people to have fun in the kitchen again and eat good food.
Okay, guys, you heard that. Getting good food and having fun in the kitchen again, because we have food restrictions. So just because, and it's not only about allergies. Some of them actually have diabetes, high cholesterol, all those things. You do have food restrictions. So tonight it's very exciting too, because since we're live, you can ask questions and we can answer them for you. So isn't that fun, right? So we were
Yay!
all, yeah, because we're all talking about gluten-free and allergy-friendly or any food substitutes. So put your questions there. We're more than happy to answer them. So next question that I have for you, Chef Martha, what is your background?
Okay. Sorry. Allergies are still going on here. I'm in the South. Okay. Sorry. So my background is actually I started restaurants. I've been in and out of restaurants for over 19 years. 6 years ago, I went and made the switch to actual healthcare food. So I actually run a hospital kitchen. That's as far as my professional background. Like I said, I've been in restaurants since I was 16. So technically it's like 24 years of cooking experience. Woohoo. Been an executive chef. I've been an executive chef, a manager, general manager. I've ran my own catering services and also mom and pop stores and that kind of thing. And 11 years ago, I got diagnosed with celiac disease with my son, and my daughter at 9 months, which is now 18 years ago, almost 18 years ago, started the road to food allergies. So some of the stuff they don't teach you in culinary school, quite a bit of it they don't. And of course, that was before all the labeling and that kind of thing. And I just got determined that my kid was going to eat good, safe food. And then same thing with me when I started finding out that I had celiac disease and my oldest son had it and Kara has it as well. I was like, this food tastes like crap. Sorry if I can say it. And I can do better.
Yeah, I know. It's like cardboard, right? I remember that too. Because when we were introduced to gluten-free, because at that time my kids have wheat allergy. So when we started, it was about like 9 years ago. And of course, there's no labeling. We have to read everything. And there's very few options back then. But my kids were older. They were 1, 3, 5, and 7. So they know what a cupcake is. They know what a bread is. And then I gave them like a gluten-free or allergy-friendly bread. And then one bite, and they'll be looking at me like, what is this? Paper? We're not eating cardboard. And I'm like, that's $8, it's $8.
Exactly. No, it is. And it was just insane. And I said, I can do better. And so I did. And the biggest compliment I get is when people are eating my food and they're like, especially somebody that has celiac disease or food allergies and is used to it, and they go, are you sure this is safe for me to eat? I mean, it's the biggest compliment I can get is when somebody is, are you sure? I'm positive. I'll show them everything that I put in it, but it is the biggest compliment. And that's why I became dedicated to making sure that it was delicious. We deserve delicious food too.
I know, right? You only live once. That's what it's Okay. So that's a good one. So you told me that you just mentioned that you have celiac, your son and your daughter. So how did you go, you just learned it recently, or how many years?
11 years ago. 11 years ago is when I was diagnosed with the celiac disease. So I actually, there's a blog out there, one of the first blogs I ever guested on called My Allergy Kitchen, if anybody wants to go read it, but it's how my kids saved my life. I was over 400 pounds. I did not present as a regular person with celiac disease, regular quote unquote. And I was reading a book called was Elizabeth Hasselbeck's From the View. And my oldest son is on the autism spectrum and has ADD as well. And they were saying that the gluten-free diet was helping for them, for kids. So I'm reading this book. I'm 4 chapters in. I'm calling my sister Cindy, who's also my CFO on Allergy Dragon. She has celiac disease too. But I called her and I said, I think I found out what's wrong with us. She was aspirating in the middle of the night. We've been going to gastrologists. I had gallbladder taken out when I was 14 years old. I've always had stomach issues, but I didn't present normal. I was overweight, losing my hair, all kinds of different things. And so that's how I found out about it. I then demanded to have the test done. Long story short, I could make it was, no, that's not what's wrong with you. You're just fat. You need to lose weight. I had trouble losing weight. And then I finally found a doctor that would do the test for me to do the biopsy, and found out I had celiac disease, my oldest son. And then Kara has just been diagnosed like within the past 4 years.
Yeah, for those of you who are new to celiac or have no clue, for those who are viewers out there, celiac can be genetic, right?
Yes.
But it is, right?
Yeah, it is for us.
But some would say, even though that it's mostly a genetic, because they have something in the blood work that they could figure out if you are prone to, your family's prone to celiac. But just because your other family members are negative, that doesn't mean that you can't have celiac as well, right? Is that correct?
Right. Yes, you can have false positives all the time. Kara's blood work actually came back negative and her biopsy did not. So that's where you have to get into that. You're like, wait a minute, I've eliminated everything. We've done all these other tests. Maybe we just need a biopsy. The problem with the biopsy is you still have to be eating gluten to make sure, because your body will heal itself. So make sure you're really talking and you have a good gastrologist that knows about celiac disease.
Yeah, actually, that's one of the things that we are watching out because child number three, he's the first one that we got tested for food allergies before, because he, I would say we are in the smaller body frame, but he's getting skinny. And then I told him, he's generally the kids are healthy, but for him, I just realized like, there were a few times that he has blood in his stool. Like sometimes 3 days he'll have it, and then there are times that no. And then it took us 3 years for the pediatrician, because I asked her, what are your concerns in the yearly checkup. I said he has blood in his stool. It's not normal, and then
Right.
the funny thing about it is when he gets tested for a stool sample, that's when he won't have
There's
any
nothing in
blood
there.
anymore. Right. And then she told me one time, it's like, you're crazy, because every year you've been asking for this. And I'm like, I got 4 kids. I have no time to go to crazy things. If it's an only child, probably yes, but no. So she said, you know what, go to a gastro. And then we went there, and then it's a good thing, like the night before we have our appointment, he had a major blood thing in the
Mm.
bathroom. So I took a picture, and then when I showed it to him, he's like, no, this is not normal. And then he told me first, because at that time he was about 3 or 4. And he's on the smaller side. So it's like, I don't want to do it, to put something in him, because he's
Right.
tiny. Because aside from being 3 or 4, genetically he's tinier. So he's like, I feel so bad if I put a scope inside him. So let me just check if he has allergies. And then that's what when we found out that he has multiple allergies. And then at that time what happened was he's actually have internal reactions, meaning his body gets swollen, like his throat, but he's a kid, so he doesn't know how to explain it. And then the blood is actually because his tummy is swollen. And then it's just. And
Mm.
then he said he's under observation for celiac. It's just that for how many years, like for 8 years now, we can't have the celiac testing because he's allergic, he's anaphylactic. So it's
Yeah.
like he just said, you know what, just live gluten free, and then when the numbers go down, when he's okay, then we, because the thing is you're already living like a celiac. But it's fine.
Exactly.
He told me it's fine because it doesn't hurt you if you're not. Right. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, because we were actually waiting. And then I asked my daughter, because she's fine, because she outgrew her wheat allergy. She's just known to have what the doctors call her, she's wheat intolerant.
Mm.
So she can,
Okay.
in the allergy spectrum, she's not. But like the numbers, but we know that if she had wheat for like 3 days in a row, she would be bloated, she would have those signs. And then she would like, you know what, I'll stop and eating. And then I told her, since you can eat, can we do a testing on you just to see if it's genetic? And then she googled it and saw that a camera inside, and she's like, nope, I'm not gonna get tested. I saw it in YouTube. I know what's going on. And I'm like, oh god. I thought she thought at first it was just blood work. So she's like, I'm fine. And then, no, can we have you tested for celiac? And then she starts looking and like, nope, wait for him, not me. And she, oh, but
I
it's
don't
just,
blame her. I don't blame her. It's not
yeah.
pleasant.
But it is crazy. So anyway, let's go back to Thanksgiving, because
Okay.
it's that time of the year when I know people just eat, right? And
Yes.
I think it's going to be a different one because they said social distancing, no parties. But guess what? I know we will still celebrate Thanksgiving, and now we don't have any much takeouts as well. So we're cooking from home. So let's start. What is your typical Thanksgiving menu?
My typical Thanksgiving menu, I'm actually lucky because me and my brother actually always tag team it, which is awesome. So that kind of goes into, lots of different things, but he knows about the allergies, so that's one thing. So we really tag team it. He always does the turkey. He will do a gluten stuffing. I do a gluten-free stuffing. I then will always have dinner rolls that are gluten free, and then we always have macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes. We carve it up. I tell you what, green beans or green bean casserole, gravy. Of course, you have to have gravy, and then we usually have pumpkin pie, various pumpkin desserts. I might do a pumpkin cheesecake. It's usually a pumpkin cheesecake and a pumpkin pie. I'm a very much pumpkin spice girl, so there's plenty of pumpkin there. And that's pretty much it. Oh, cranberry sauce. Sorry. I have to have the cranberry sauce. Kara can't eat it, but I have to have the cranberry sauce. I love cranberry sauce on my turkey. So I don't know if it's a Southern thing or not.
It's not from the can? The cranberry?
I will get it from the can if I can't go make it.
Okay.
I do prefer making it, but sometimes I don't have the time. So we will get it from the can. And the jellied one from Ocean Spray is okay, celiac safe. So it's pretty good. I'm not a big fan. I don't like the skinned pits like too much. So when I do a fresh one, I usually use like an orange. I like the bits and orange in it as well. So it's not just cranberry sauce. So, and some cloves and yeah, I make it a little bit more warm. It actually goes good with ham too. You can make it that way.
Oh, yummy.
I digress. Sorry, we just talk about food.
Yes, we can talk about food for like a whole hour, right?
That's what I do. But yeah, no, that's, you have your must-haves. You have to have turkey. You have to have those are our must-haves. And we will have those things here, probably on a smaller scale, hopefully, and hopefully not try to eat all of it in one day. So.
Oh, that's funny because I remember when my kids, before when we celebrate Thanksgiving, because it's, like at that time I knew they have food allergies and I don't want other, I said I don't want other people in the house because, it's always a thing that they will bring something. And at that time, my kids are younger. So if they are younger, you can't, it's hard to tell them, no, not this one. And it's like 4 of them, or if you're going to have another set of like, cousins there. So it's hard to keep track. And I'm like, I don't want any hospital visits on Thanksgiving. So when they were younger, maybe for the first 3 or 4 years, we're just by ourselves. And at that time, I'm cheating because instead of turkey, I'm actually just getting a chicken.
Hey, whatever works.
Because it's huge. And then they realized that, when they got bigger, they're like, why is it that in the picture they showed me that the turkey's huge? Why you got a small one? I'm like,
they come in different sizes.
and then when they started reading, they saw that I think that was the last Thanksgiving that that actually found out that I got a chicken. The label is chicken, not turkey. No, because it's like the 6 of us. And, if you got like smaller kids, I can't have a whole turkey. And then there was one year that we got the whole turkey and then I froze the other, and after that I got the whole turkey. Of course, it's free from stores, right? The turkey after a certain time. I said, you know what? I'm getting the turkey now. So it's and they're like, Mom, we don't want turkey anymore. Because what I did, I don't want to throw it away. So I put it in the freezer, chop it up, cut, and they're like, we got turkey soup. They even got turkey empanadas because I just put everything in.
Yeah.
And they're like, turkey spring rolls, like whatever, turkey sandwich. They're like, Mom, we don't want turkey anymore.
I say go for it. Yeah, then they realize that turkey's not all that if you don't, I don't know. Yeah, if you don't have a huge family and you eat some of those birds, it's big, but we usually have everybody. And I guess we were very strategic, and Kara had a lot less allergies when she was younger. And since she was in the kitchen with me all the time, she really knew to ask certain questions, like why she couldn't have certain things, even at 4 and 5. My brother made the mistake. I'll never forget this. She's eating pumpkin pie, and he's showing her what is in it. And she thought, because tree nuts is one of her things, and tree nuts, peanuts, and strawberries at this time were her anaphylactic reaction or anaphylactic foods. Yeah. And he says, well, I put cinnamon and nutmeg, and she just freaked at nutmeg. She thought nutmeg was nut, and I was just, her face fell, and I was like, it's a seed. I'm explaining it because my brother thought he was doing such a good job in just teaching her. And I just saw the pure panic on that child's face. And I was like, oh, no. He did not hurt you. This is not a nut. It is a seed. You are good. You are fine. So other than that, that traumatization, most of the time my family was actually really good. But we have thank goodness for Facebook and all these message boards now that we didn't have back in the
Oh,
day, because it used to
yep.
be like, yeah. And so like coordinating who's bringing what, and if people are going to bring stuff in, I'd be like, no, you can't bring it. If you want to come over, that's great, but don't bring any food. Don't bring that into the house. There were certain things we just would not allow.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, they're very understanding. And if they're not, they'll get over it eventually. It's been 18 years. Yeah. Some of them, they've adjusted, but I did make some people mad the first couple years. And, well, I'm sorry, that's a non-negotiable. You're not bringing that into my house.
Yeah.
I would welcome you gladly, but not with that item in your hand.
Yeah. Usually I just tell them before when they're asking what you can bring, I say, bring me some wine. It's more than welcome. And they're like, but she got wine already. Then give me two.
That's right.
I'll stock it up in my fridge. Or get me the expensive one. Just because I would say, just said, no hassle. Bring me the bottle of wine. And then and they're like, but it's cheap. Then guess what? Here's the expensive one. Oh, there's a big list in there. Or and like I haven't had those big champagnes too, so you can bring it.
I love it.
Actually, that's what my kids are telling me. Oh my God, if she's gonna be asking, she's like, okay, we're gonna have wine again because they grew up hearing that I wanted wine. It's not like and it's not like because I don't, I'm picky or like I would say I'm not alcoholic, but it's like that's the best reason you can tell them without explaining.
I agree with that. I'm not, I can't even drink anymore, but I was never a big drinker, but I agree with that. Wine, if you can drink it, drink it.
Yeah. Bring the soda, bring the drinks, bring
exactly.
Juice. There you go. Because it's like we can't get enough of those in a day, right? Especially Thanksgiving. Yeah, get that bottled sparkling cider.
That's right. Just bring it.
Okay, so now, what are your other tips? Maybe I would say 5 tips when you are hosting, because we already talked about it, like when you're hosting and you know that you have food restrictions.
I think my 5 tips are to find out what your non-negotiable things that you're not going to have brought into your house and let it be known. So I think that's the number 1, and explain to them why you can't as nice as you can. And like I said, sometimes people's feelings will get hurt, but they will get over it. I have proof. There's 18 years of, they're older now, so they do get over it. You're not you might be called the helicopter mom and all this other stuff, but your child. So just explain it as nice as you can, and they'll either understand or they won't. And then I say, go Google it now, because at least we have Google now. We didn't back in the day. Didn't have proof.
I remember back in the day, there's no FDA warning. No, on the label, right? So you just have to scan through the list, like a big list of
a big list, and then you're lucky if they put it on there because it was, optional until 2004, 2005. So those of us,
tiny one, right?
No bold face. No, we got lucky now. But not with the new FDA ruling. That's a whole nother subject. Okay, so on to my next.
That's another hour, right?
That's right. Oh, shush. My next thing is, I think having a chat is awesome, or a Facebook page or something with your group event on people that are bringing food, or if you're going to not have food, just to not worry about it that way. However, like you're going to host the whole entire thing. But I think it's better to actually empower people with knowledge so that they feel like they're bringing something in. And I have no problem. I think you should ask somebody, how are you making it? Completely walk me through your entire step process so that they know and what's in their kitchen and that kind of thing. So if you are having people bring it in, be very picky about it and don't be apologetic about it. You be nice about it, but don't apologize for keeping yourself and your family safe. That is my tip number 3. Mm-hmm. Don't apologize for keeping your family and yourself safe. Mm-hmm. I think it's annoying. I'm not going to sit there and say I'm sorry every 5 minutes during Thanksgiving because you can't, I can't eat that. I'm sorry. No, don't apologize about it. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is, if you have wine and you can drink it, I would definitely drink it. I'm just adding that in there right now because I do think that, going on what you were talking about with the wine, anything that they can bring that's simple and easy, picking up drinks, picking up wine. So I'm still in Rochie's, but that is one of mine, which is definitely pick something easy. Whether it's a candy, which I know candies nowadays, have tons of stuff in them depending on what you got. But if it's something quick and easy that they can grab, like a drink or that kind of thing, that makes them feel like they're part of the celebration. Or they can bring the cups, they can bring the ice, they can bring the silverware, the plasticware. So my final tip. So my final tip would be that don't sweat the small stuff. Just worry about the big things, and everything else will go fine. And I know that sounds weird, but when we're looking at the picture, us allergy parents or gluten-free parents, we're looking at the whole entire setup, and not everybody else is. So focus on the big things, the small things like the plasticware and the things aren't matching, and the turkey napkins being folded like Martha Stewart once. Don't worry about it. We're worried about keeping the kids, alive. If it's not the prettiest thing, it doesn't matter. As long as everybody's happy, healthy, and safe, and it tastes good, you won.
Yeah.
So those are my 5 tips.
Awesome. You heard that, guys? She got amazing tips. Now, speaking of delicious, are we ready for some cooking thing?
I can do the cooking thing. Now, you will probably not see me. I have to move my laptop situation here. But I have like this thing that's supposed to come in, but it has not come in yet. So it's like where I could tilt everything like 100 and some odd degrees, but that doesn't happen right now. So
it's okay. We'll just show it.
We'll show it. You'll have to probably tell me if you see or don't see. I can see the pan.
Awesome. Yep.
Are we good? Okay. Okay, so this is a very, very quick and easy stovetop stuffing. I'm sure people have heard of it. I'm grabbing my notes so I don't forget what I'm doing. I will show you one thing I wanted to show people is this is my other tip, which is when you can make something pre-baked or pre-done and you can now find something safe, go for it. I hate to make pie crust. They make a good one, so I always get them. I just made a pumpkin pie today, so I was like, oh. So anyway.
we actually use that one because I remember before, like how to, it's hard to make the pie crust and everything. So at least that one you can just dump in the filling and then put it in the oven and we're done, right?
Exactly. I think it's awesome. So anytime you can save a little, we didn't have as many, a few years ago, and we still make about 90% of our food from scratch because of Kara's food allergies. But this is a quick and easy stovetop dressing, gluten-free, allergy-friendly. So anyway, you're going to need like a loaf of 15-ounce gluten-free bread, half-inch dice, 1 to 1.5 cups of chicken stock, which we actually make our chicken stock because of Kara's gluten allergy. And then I have the pan going already. I have it about on 7, so medium high. And I've already put my oil in it, which is about 3 tablespoons of avocado and I like olive oil together because it gives me a higher smoke point. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go ahead and I have about 1 small onion chopped, and hopefully you can see that. And I have about 3 stalks of celery because they were kind of tiny. And you want to cut these up really tiny because the smaller you cut them, the faster they're going to cook. Not to mention, I don't like big chunks of that stuff.
Veggies, right?
Yeah, I don't, because I'm going to slather this with gravy. I don't want it to be healthy.
Oh, and for those of you who are wondering what she's doing, she just mentioned dressing. Here in, I would say in the north or in Jersey, we call it stuffing.
Yeah, it's like dressing or stuffing. In the South, we're usually dressing.
Yes, so there you go, guys. So we have a gluten-free and allergy-friendly dressing going on in here.
Yeah, so that's why I call it like a stovetop dressing. Now you can put this is going to just saute for about 8 to 10 minutes on pretty high heat. Now, your seasonings that you want to do, where I'm doing a teaspoon of basil, a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of ground sage, and half a teaspoon of ground thyme. Oh, and I actually put them in while everything's sauteing because it helps to bring your herbs, especially if you're using dry herbs, it helps to bring them out. And I don't get a lot of fresh herbs around here. I just don't have the space for it.
My daughter was trying. Right?
I'm sorry?
And it's tough to find fresh ones now. Like for us, everything's dying because of our crazy Jersey temperature.
Exactly. Up north, it's even harder. Kara actually tried to grow basil and rosemary and stuff this summer inside the house on like the uh, side of the windowsill.
Mm-hmm.
And it did good for a little bit. She actually used some basil. We had some fresh basil and made like a caprese salad. It was really good, but you just don't always have that option. So
Mm-hmm.
I
I
say you
hear
see.
you.
Yeah, and dry
Mm.
seasonings can be just as good as regular ones. Just remember, if you're keeping them, um, just make sure that they, if you keep them a long time, try to get small containers of them versus big ones because they do lose their potency. So sometimes you end up like it's
Mm-hmm.
a teaspoon and then it doesn't taste like right, so you have to add extra. A lot of times it's just date on your. They don't go bad; they just lose potency.
Mm-hmm. So you hear that, guys? You don't have to keep your spices or your dried herbs for like 5 years, for six
Yeah,
years. Toss them out. Use them.
yeah. You'll be like, why does that not taste right? How long has it been since you used that oregano?
They were like, some of them were like, it's a wedding present. And you're celebrating your 25th wedding anniversary. Oh, I'm crazy because I love using herbs and dried herbs specifically because uh sometimes the kids were like, "Mom, you got too much bottles in here. Are you sure you're using them?" I'm like, "Yeah. If you see me, I put a lot in the dishes. You just don't see it." And then now that they're cooking, they're like, "Mom, you got like 5 bottles here of whatever, and you're adding it in this too."
That's right. I have tons. I can't see them sometimes, but I cook so much different types of food because there's so many places in our instance that we can't go to. Like I love Asian cuisine, so like I love Korean food, I love Japanese food, the Filipino food, and so like we were made for her birthday this year. We did tteokbokki and miso soup, but I had to make it all from scratch because um, you most of the paste and that kind of thing. If you're making tteokbokki, the spicy rice cake has garlic in it, and she's anaphylactic to garlic. So I really,
Really?
yeah, but she has a total of 33 food allergies that she got as she got older. She actually is not allergic to peanuts anymore, but she avoids them. So in our case,
Mhm.
she literally makes about 90% of our food because we can't buy very much stuff from scratch or not ready made. Sorry, we have to make it from scratch. So that's why you'll
Mhm.
find a lot of my recipes. I'm like, if you can have garlic, add garlic, but we can't. So
See, no, I feel bad. She can't go to my house because actually, when was that? A few days ago, because we were talking about because it's Halloween, and my
mm-hmm.
kids have used tons of garlic. They know that. They're like, Mom, the vampire won't even knock at our door. Because they were like talking that they were like arguing that the vampire has to be invited, like something
mm-hmm.
like that. And they're like, you don't have to worry. And then one of my kids just said, you don't have to worry about vampires because they won't even knock at our door. They could smell it from afar.
We used to have garlic all the time. I'm actually the last place I was a restaurant I was at was a that I was at was an Italian restaurant, and I put garlic in everything. I just grew up with garlic and lots of stuff. And when we went through her testing cycle, because she had counseling because she was thinking that she was having problems, but she was thinking that it was all in her head that she
Uh-huh.
was having trouble breathing, and no, she had just developed more allergies. So we had testing done, then did the elimination diet, and she was eating garlic bread. That was her food to initiate back in. And
Mm-hmm.
she started, Mom, I'm okay. And I go, no, you're not. And she was like, I just want to eat the bread. I just want to eat the garlic bread. She starts crying, and she can't breathe. And we give her the EpiPen, and we've gone to the hospital. And obviously, she is okay because she is still here with us. But people don't realize that allergies can ebb and flow. And in her case, unfortunately, she's got a lot of them now that she didn't have. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's because people sometimes are like, oh, you outgrow them, and sometimes you do. And she outgrew one that has 33 now.
Oh, she'll
So
outgrow it soon. I always say there's always hope.
There is always hope. I am hopeful that she will get over that. But I do miss garlic. I'll be honest. I put garlic in everything I used to. So I've had to be inventive. She keeps me
Mm-hmm.
on my toes.
Oh, I
So
got a question. I got a question first. For your bread, do you use stale bread or fresh bread?
I use both. I actually save the butt ends of the bread, if you want to call it the butt ends of the bread. That's what my kids call it. But they don't like to eat the butt ends of the bread, especially the gluten-free loaves. If you get a pre-made one, they're so tiny. So we keep a bag in
Uh-huh.
the freezer and we just keep putting them in there. But I will leave it out. I cut it up and leave it out. And most bread anyway nowadays are bad. But if you are not bad, but they're not as bad as they used to be, but they're still pretty dry. We use char,
Mm-hmm.
but if you are baking your own bread, I always tell people don't throw out your mess ups because they make great stuffing.
Oh
They can
yeah.
make great,
Mm-hmm.
don't throw out your best stuff. So I am using a mixture of frozen bread that's been in there for like 6 months and some fresh that I got because I didn't have quite enough. So and there's like
Okay.
multi-grain and white bread. It doesn't matter. And they're like I said, gluten-free, egg-free, pause the carrots. She just was excited I was doing this because she was like, I want stuffing. So it's been about 6 or 7 minutes on these and they're starting to turn. I'm going to go ahead and
Oh,
put
it's
about,
funny. Like, okay.
I'm sorry.
Cindy just said, oh, we just got a comment. She said, the butt end of the bread. It's hysterical. You know what? That's the first time I heard that. The
Oh,
butt
really?
end
The
of the
butt end of
bread.
the bread? Well, it's the butt end of the bread. Yeah, instead of heels, I don't know why, but it was one of those things that I think it was my middle son and Kara were together, and I said, those are the heels of the bread. And they said, no, it looks like the butt. And I don't know why it's stuck. So, but it is. So now we have about a cup and a half of chicken broth that I'm putting in here. You can add more, add less. I like it to be pretty moist. I have 2 cups in here, and I already had preheated it because obviously, if you put it in the microwave and preheat it, you cut your cook time down faster. So I just want to get this to where it gets to pretty much a boil, which will take like a minute or so because it was already room temperature. And then I'll put the bread in and mix it up, and I'll let it sit in there for about 5 minutes. I'll see if it needs to add any more broth to it, and then it'll pretty much be ready to be eaten. You can, if you want like a crusty, because this is like an easy stovetop dressing or stuffing, you can put it in the oven for like 10 minutes so you can get the crispy parts because some people like it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big person in actually stuffing it into the turkey or anything like that, just because you have to make sure you cook it completely through because of, making sure. And then by the time you do that, you kill your bird, like it's too dry
Yeah.
to make sure that there's no foodborne illnesses. We don't need that on top of food allergies and gluten-free. So you have to be safe.
Mm-hmm. Actually, that's good because you're doing I just realized it's almost like a vegetarian one because you didn't put sausage. I always put sausage in my stuffing.
Yeah, some people put sausage, and then the southern thing here in the dressing is oysters. Have you ever
Oysters.
oysters? Yes.
Oh, now I want to
Yeah.
go there. I want to go to your house.
Well, we don't do it because I honestly don't like it, and Kara's allergic to seafood, all seafood.
Mhm.
So I don't do that. But my aunt, I grew up with it in hers, so it's a southern thing with the oysters.
Okay,
So
let's go to Aunt's house then.
that's right. Go to Anne's house. You'll have to come down here and get some oyster dressing. But
Mhm.
now I've never put sausage in mine. I've always kept, and you can do it vegetarian if you use a vegan or a vegetable broth. I actually did chicken, but you can make it vegan and just do a vegetable broth. So it's easy that way too.
Mhm. That sounds good. Oh, Cindy said again, oyster stuffing was my favorite. Now I'm curious
Okay.
now what it tastes like.
Yuck. I think I'm the, sorry. I guess I'm not South enough. I was born in West Virginia, so I got a little bit of the North in me.
And I'm like, is it already north the West Virginia? What?
It's yeah, you gotta look at that. Well, I don't know. There's a controversy there. You have no clue. But I moved out of West Virginia at 19, so I consider myself more Southern. I spent summers here in Kentucky. So my aunt would always, the one that did the oyster dressing, always said that no, I was just Kentucky in my blood. So she always said I was Southern.
Okay, you are. That looks good. See, guys, remember, Chef Martha just told us not to throw those yucky gluten-free bread that you bought that nobody wants to eat. Freeze them, and you can use them for stuffing.
That's right.
I know, right? You can't throw away like what, a $7 and $8 a loaf bread.
I know you can't, and I'm sorry, some of those $7, $8, I don't know where they got that as like what should be a good thing. I'm like, mm-mm. So this is pretty much, honestly, you could eat this right now.
Looks good.
Okay. And I don't like mine too soft because I like to put gravy on it and like have it sop up a lot. If you like a much moisture, more moisture in your stuffing or bread or dressing, then just add more broth. That's pretty much it. It's an easy stovetop dressing. You can still make stovetop dressing, or not trying to trademark anything, but that was like the dressing I grew up with my mom. My mom was not really much into cooking, so a lot of stuff was pre-made, bagged things, hamburger helper growing up, and I learned most of my cooking from my aunts and stuff. So Southern.
Yeah, so, but that's the good stuff.
It is good. Well, this is pretty much done, and I think it took us less than 15 minutes.
Yes, less than 15 minutes. I'm
going to pull the camera up a little bit. So here we go. Did you get a good shot of it? I don't know.
Yes, there is.
Okay. Cool. See if I can get made in here. Hello, I'm back again.
Whoops, see, guys, if you have like a turkey in the oven, you can do the stuffing or the dressing for like 15 minutes. There you go.
Yes.
Don't
and
go
then you just gonna make gravy.
Oh.
That's good.
Now I'm getting hungry.
That was the point.
So what did you put in it again? What herbs did you put in it again?
I put in thyme, basil, sage, and salt, pepper. Pretty basic. You can put dill. You can go. Obviously, if you got garlic and you want to put garlic in there, go put garlic in there. But I try to keep everything, like I was joking, say Kara safe. But yeah, you can switch up your recipes. I did send you a link or I sent you a copy of it in the email, and I'll also post it later on my allergydragon.com. I can't talk now. Sorry.
Once you posted the recipe, I'm gonna put it with a video in the description in a video, so people can look back and then they're like, "Oh, this was what they made." Oh, now Cindy's telling me that you got amazing gravy.
I do have amazing gravy. That is Cindy, my sister. Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Cindy. Hi, sister Cindy.
I'm like, oh, you can see my dirty. Oh no, I don't like that. It was my refrigerator's back there. Okay, like let me switch that up a little bit. Yes, I do make pretty good gravy. So I use cornstarch or American powder, that kind of thing, and then sometimes you can use gluten-free. Make a roux with your butter and your gluten-free flour. Just try not to use one with xanthan gum. It kind of makes it kind of like more gummy.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of gummier. I don't like to use the American that much either because of the gumminess. So I'll use cornstarch. But if you can't use cornstarch, white rice starch, potato starch, really good. Just it's got to be a little bit more inventive with it. But it is possible to make good gravy and sauces gluten-free.
Yeah, because actually, just what I usually do for my gravy is that get it from the drippings of my chicken, not the turkey.
Not the turkey.
See, I full disclosure now. It's a chicken, so I get the oil from the pan in there, the drippings, and then use it. And I put for my kids because they are dairy free, so we're using the dairy free butter, and dairy-free butter, buttery spread, and then cornstarch, actually. That's it. And lots of garlic powder. Yeah, we do love garlic powder. Lots of
It's
garlic powder
okay.
and black pepper.
Garlic powder is good. Garlic is good. So I just can't.
Mhm.
We just can't have it here. That's
I
it.
know, right?
She's also ginger. Ginger. She's anaphylactic too. Um, and so it's in cinnamon. So a lot of Asian cuisine she can't have because of that.
Mm.
So I have to make it at home. We don't go to the restaurants.
Yes. So how was it? It's not as I mean, I would say it's not the end of the world. It's a bit challenging, but it's doable. I have to say, right?
Yeah, it is doable. You want to be. It has to be in a controlled space. Her the one that freaks her the most out and that's airborne is fish for her, and
Hmm.
she'll have a reaction. And that's the one that's caused the most problems for her. So, and it's been interesting as we've been going through our college journey, trying to figure out where to go.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. So
Hmm.
we have a couple of 3 contenders though, which is kind of cool. So we'll see
Mm.
what happens, but it is doable. It's not the end of the world. I think that's one thing that she's learned. I think the allergies can be a good thing, but it depends on how you take them. She's
Hmm.
definitely more mindful of her body and everything else than other kids her age would be at an earlier age. So it can be a blessing, I think, but it's definitely doable.
Yeah, it is doable, right? Because that's why both of us are here to let our viewers know and those people know that you can have good food. Because for me, it's like that's what you're saying. Because I don't have any food allergies. It's my choice.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
what happened is that I could eat out before. Whatever I ate, I said, "Oh, this is really good." It's like, for example, Mexican food or whatever kind of food. And then you know what? I will bring the flavors home and then remove anything. Like for example, we can't have soy sauce. And we're laughing because our we are Filipino and we don't have any soy sauce in the house. So if we have guests, they're like, "Where's your dipping soy sauce?" Like just for dipping, and like we don't have it. But I have this one is the coconut
The coconut
amino,
aminos, right?
and they're like, "What the hell is that?"
And
You
see, for us, soy and dairy are out of the top 8 are the only 2 out of the top 8 that she can eat.
can't. Hmm.
So that's funny for us that we get the soy, but we can't have the garlic. You can have the garlic.
Yeah. And we were laughing because they're like, "You can't have soy." I'm like, yes, and they're like, almost all Asian food, Filipino food, and this one, I'm like, "I'm sorry, but we can't have it. We can use the fish sauce, but not this one." And they'll be looking at me because I'm giving them like the bottle of the coconut aminos,
I
and
mean,
they're
no,
like, "No, it's so sweet. It smells different." Because they're like, "Because we bleed soy sauce." That's what they're saying. Well, guess what? No soy sauce in my house. It's so funny because they're like, "Really?" Yep. That's why. And it's funny because now my kids, they know they could eat Vietnamese food because
mm-hmm.
mostly of the Vietnamese food they use fish sauce,
Yeah,
which they could have. So they're like, "Yeah, we could go that one, but we can't go Korean food in a
right.
restaurant because we know there's soy sauce in there, as well as Japanese and Chinese."
Yeah, and so Kara can't do a lot of the Vietnamese because of the fish sauce, and then even some of the Korean food, and then the garlic, because the garlic
Mhm.
is so much stuff in Korean food too.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, so it's interesting, trying to make things, and then yeah, but we make it happen because I think you learn so much from people from their food, like
Mhm.
different cultures and that type of thing, and then you try to make like when you're traveling and that kind of thing, people talk about them. And I'm like, it's possible to travel because travel has absolutely nothing to do with the food. You can bring the food
Yeah.
home.
Mhm.
Yes, I would. Granted, I would love to go and eat that there in wherever I'm at and have that authentic, experience. But I'd be it's more impressed to go visit that place and learn from the people versus just eating the food. So
Mhm.
traveling is not about just eating food. It's about the experience.
Exactly. And also like I would say the environment, like the whatever they had in there, like nice places to go to, right?
Yeah.
View. Yeah. But we can't travel now.
I'm traveling now, but we're talking about it later. We're gonna go. And I'm like, but then I realized how many places in America I haven't been. I've never been to New Jersey. I've never been to Colorado. I've never been to Reno, Nevada. Like, I'm talking to so many people in these places. I was like, I really just want to go visit here. I mean, we've never been out of the country, to be honest, and I'd love to do that too. But then I was like, there are so many places I haven't been,
Me
and I'm
too.
like,
I mean, I haven't been in the South except Florida. You know, like except Florida, but the rest.
I've been
Like,
mainly Eastern Seaboard, and it's been Southern. You know, I've been to Georgia and all that, but you go up past, was it New Hampshire? I think I've been to New Hampshire, but I
mhm.
like drove through places, but I've never actually visited New Jersey, New York, Chicago. I think is like the farthest north of Chicago, I would say.
So you haven't been with the crazy people of New York and New Jersey and Connecticut?
No, I have not yet. It's on the list. I tried to get to Chopped like 2 years ago. I made it through like to the third thing, like
Mhm.
test, and I never got the final call back. So I was trying to get to New York that way, but it didn't happen. So I'll
Maybe
try
next
again.
time. Maybe
Yeah.
next time.
Maybe next time. I'll try again.
Yeah, we need that one. We need representation. That's what I would say. That's what I'm learning from my kids.
That's right. We need representation for all races and all food allergies and intolerances and what you can't eat. Because, like you said, diabetes, I had to go on a low fat, low fiber diet after I had pancreatitis like 2 years ago. So
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, great. Let's keep taking things from me that I can't eat, Okay, fine. So,
Yeah, because that's why I always said it's not just sometimes about allergies. It's just the restrictions. Because if you're sick, I said something. I know, like some people who had like issues with their thyroid, they can't eat this type of food. So but you know what? It's doable. It's not the end of the world. I always say if you have a restriction.
no, it's definitely doable. Life is doable. It just, you have to change your mindset about it. And everybody
Mhm.
deserves delicious, and you can make it delicious.
Yes, just like Chef Marta did with that dressing. Now I'm calling it dressing.
Either way you want to call it, it's stuffing, dressing, whatever.
My kids are like, she's learning something today, and we're gonna be hearing that for the next 3 days.
Mine's in the background talking about saying it's stuffing.
We're crazy. Yeah,
That's okay.
so there you go. Yeah, that's it, guys. You know what? See, I told you can do that one. And you know what? Let's talk about the bird. What do you usually put in your turkey? Like, how do you make it? Do you brine it?
Brine it. I turned my brother into brining a few years ago. So we usually brine it. So it's not as much salt as what people think. We use brown sugar and plenty of spices, million spices. Obviously, there's no garlic in it and that kind of thing. But yeah, plenty of rosemary, thyme, thought of the big and fresh herbs, put them in there. I like brining. If you are going to fry a turkey, I do suggest this because people have to use such a high temperature fat, and a lot of people can't use peanut oil because of an allergy. So
Mhm.
I recommend avocado oil because it has a smoke point of up to 500. So if you are going to fry
Mhm.
your turkey, I would do it that way. And also make sure if you have a peanut allergy or a nut allergy, you know what oil is being used if they're frying, like they're eating at somebody's house. A lot of people don't realize that they use peanut oil, or they'll use a
Mhm.
mixture of it because
Yeah.
of its high smoke point and the
Mhm.
flavor. But avocado oil works really well.
Mhm.
And then, you know, however you want to make your turkey or your
Oh,
chicken.
your chicken. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll put it in my because right now I'm obsessed with my ninja.
I
The
saw
ninja
that.
food is
Yeah.
real. I'm having an obsession with it. Now I'm thinking maybe I'll split up my turkey and just put it there in the grill, probably, or just bake it there. Woo! See, I like frying, but I'm just scared because I'm seeing a lot of people who are frying. It should be outside your house because
Yeah, they will burn themselves.
Jeez, I
It's dangerous.
know.
Or they
And
don't let it fall out.
it's probably like what? You got like what? A 30-pound turkey and you're gonna drop it in a boiling oil? I'm scared. I can't do that.
The main thing is they're not letting it. You see those ones that blow up and that kind of thing. Their turkey's not thawed out, and that water hits that fry oil, and that's the same thing that happens in a restaurant when you throw those French fries down and that kind of thing in a fryer or
Mhm.
whatever. So it's those
Yeah.
water particles are all exploding at one time, and you're doing that with a 30-pound turkey.
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
Okay, people, defrost your turkey. So how many days do you usually defrost your turkey and how do you defrost it?
Usually I put it in the refrigerator. I have an extra refrigerator and we usually put it in, and it's usually about 4 to 5 days depending on how big the turkey is. Sometimes it's a week. So make sure you're taking the time to actually thaw it out. And sometimes even putting it in, make sure you're also not worried about, sorry, I can't talk. See, rewind, cross contamination. So you just make sure that you have plenty of room for the drippings and the water that's going to be out there, because a lot of times those break open, and then you're gonna have a mess to clean up. So just kind of think about that ahead of time. One of those old styrofoam containers that you've used before would work good, like the ice chest type of thing. So.
Yeah. So defrost your turkey, people. I said, Chef Martha said it maybe use it by 3 or 4 days, not the night before.
Night before is not recommended. Doing it underneath water does not. It's going to do the outside, but not the inside, and you're gonna. Yeah, it's not going to be pleasant at all, especially if you're frying it.
Yeah. Even in baking, though, like if you put it in the oven, it will take longer because the skin gets burnt, and then the inside is still raw, right?
Yeah, and then you have an even cooking period. It's like if you put stuffing inside it, the turkey, and then you ruin the outside of the turkey because of that. It's burnt, like you said.
Yeah. Okay, guys, you heard so much tips tonight. Any more tips? How about you, Miss Martha? Any more tips?
Any more tips? Oh, just pretty much have fun and enjoy what you're eating, and just be careful. That's all you can do. I know it sounds lame, but that's pretty much all you can do.
And you know what? For me, I would say one more big tip that I do is that I don't cook everything on that same day. Like, for example, the pies, the desserts, I could start pre-cooking them, right? So it's
Yeah, you can
easier.
pre-cook them. You can even pre-prep like I did with the stuffing. I already had everything cut up and ready to go. So if you're somebody that doesn't like to cut, you can even buy that stuff pre-cut a lot of times, or frozen.
Mhm.
So anytime you can take a chance to like make your life easier or buy something pre-made, especially with food allergies, I would do it. So there's a lot of bakeries out now that you can even buy from that will ship to you and that kind of thing that they used to not have. So there's a lot more options out there.
Yep. That is That's great. I love all the tips. And guess what? We're an hour. We can do more,
Woo!
right? So, guys, thank you so much. And thank you, Chef Martha, for sharing your expertise on our Thanksgiving prep and also for the wonderful dressing recipe. See, I love the dressing word now. Okay, my kids will be like, oh my goodness, she just found her word for the week.
I'm glad I got to teach you the dressing.
Yeah, now I need that accent now. That would be like dressing. They'll be like laughing at me, and she's starting and like, oh no, don't do it. So anyway, guys, I hope you had fun tonight because Martha and I really had fun. And guess what, guys? You can check out her blog. It's allergydragon.com for recipes, right? You got
Yep,
recipes in there? Like
for
what?
sure.
Any things for the Thanksgiving menu? Any recipes you got in there?
I have a pumpkin salad recipe. I know all things pumpkin. I have got a pumpkin cookie. I have got a different type of dressing stuffing that has actual fruit in it. So it's a little bit fancier, schmancier from last year that I posted. And I'll have this one up there shortly as well. So those are my main on that. I can't talk. See, it's past my bedtime, people. I'm sorry. And then I have like persimmon cookies. So I love persimmon cookies. This is time for them. If you've never had a persimmon or had a cookie, you need to try it.
I never had those.
Really?
Cookie. I mean, I do
Oh,
like cookies, but the person, I want that. Now I want that. I want to make that. And
well, there's a
probably,
YouTube video and my allergydragon.com. You can go check them out. They are good, and it has like an orange glaze on it.
oh no. Come on. I mean, I'm drooling here. I'm trying my best. Have you seen me drink water? So, guys, don't forget, you can check out Chef Martha's blog. It's the Allergy Dragon for some amazing recipes, not only for Thanksgiving, but also for the rest of the year. And also check out her YouTube channel, which is also Allergy Dragon. Is that
It's
it?
also Allergy Dragon. Yep.
Yep, on YouTube. And she got her recipes there, her like little cooking shows for you guys. So we have to make we have to say goodbye, at least
Yeah.
for now. But you know what? I think we're gonna come back. You will come back because we have to make more recipes, right? And I
Right.
hope and I hope you guys had a great fun or a great time with us tonight. And if you have any questions, don't forget reach out to me, the Frugalista Mom, or reach out to Chef Martha of Allergy Dragon for your food allergy, gluten-free recipe questions, and we're more than happy to answer them. Right, Martha?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you guys, and we'll have to say good night, guys, and thank you so much for joining us. Bye.
Bye.